Hey crafty people! Welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Welcome to my channel. In case you're new here, what I'm supposed to be doing the last Wednesday of every month is working with the leftover bits on my desk so that I don't have a bunch of stuff piling up on my desks. So far, I have not been as successful in keeping the stuff from piling up, but we are going to work with a few things that are left over from this month and some from last month, I think. Let's finish some of these pieces off so that they can be in the done pile instead of the to be finished pile. I also have leftover bits from the Archive 365 digital kit for this month, which happened to have a postal theme. And since I'm kind of semi working on a postal themed journal, and these guys are all in the postal theme palette, and these guys were master boards we created using stamps for the postal journal, or at least some of them. Let's play with these today. I want to start by adding some inking to these. Were the backgrounds we created in the eroded metallic play video. I'll leave a link to that one down below. And then these two, I had some leftover texture paste from a project I was working on, so I went ahead and put some on here, but I really want to add some more grunginess to this, so we're gonna pull out, I think, some scorched timber, ink up, splatter, like just futz around with these backgrounds a little bit to get them more in a color that I like. Let me grab a piece of paper, and we're just gonna ink all of these with some scorched timber. Yeah, the paint went a little pink. The red and the, I think antique linen combined to make it a little bit more pink than I like. It's very subtle, but there is a bit of a difference. It did tint the paste a little bit. I'm kind of wondering if I want to bring in, actually, let's go ahead and do these guys first. And then I definitely like that better. I think I'm gonna splatter a little water on these guys and see what that does. Get some water in my hand. I'm just gonna go like that. Don't know that it did much of anything. It did. It lifted up a little on this one, and I don't know that I love that I did that. Oi. Let's hit it with a heat tool. Get them dry. The only one the flicking water worked on was this one, and I was trying to hide the fact that we had it going kind of pinky, and so that was really kind of silly, so I'm gonna go back in and add more ink. This is turning out to be one of those kind of crafty days where it's like, Oh, maybe I should just go sit and watch TV. All right, I think I may want to add a little crayon on this one. Add a little crayon in walnut stain. Now, I definitely need a little bit of water. Lift some of that. I'm just going to use my finger. Lifting, I wanted to lift some off of like the embossed bits and push it more into the paper area, and it's not cooperating very well. All right, I think we're gonna call that done. We're gonna stop fiddling with it. I think I want to round corners on this one, and then ink the edges, and then we'll decorate it. And I'm thinking either this one or this one. We may take thinking of making it like a pocket on the side. I think I kind of like that. All right, let's put a thumb notch in there. Actually, let's cut it to size first so that I can kind of center the thumb notch. This is now 5.5. So the thumb notch should be right about here. Let's ink the edges on this. He's gonna go on like so as a pocket. It's a journaling card with a pocket. How did I manage to cut that too short? How did that happen? Dagnabbit. All right, we'll just trim the excess. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do anything like over here, because I've got this stuff that I did. Gonna see how that looks. We're gonna give it a try. Oh, that was so not cut straight. I so should have used the paper trimmer for that. Let's just go ahead and wrap that around. Definitely need to put something else on there to distract from the fact that that is not straight over here. Like it's super skinny and then it widens out. Super subtle, but it will distract from the fact that that's not straight and shouldn't cause any problems with what we put in the pocket. Attempt to get something to go be cut actually straight. Let's pull out the paper trimmer to trim the excess off so that the pocket lines up with the top of the piece. And I think I trimmed a little off the pocket. That's fine. We're going to come in and ink those edges. Ink these edges. Oh, I wanted to round corners. May need to adjust the gluing on the corner. Nope. Looks to be good enough. Yeah, okay. So somehow managed to not get it on the edge. Yeah, this is turning into one of those days where it's like, maybe crafting is not what you should be doing today. Kind of wondering. I think these might be too tall. That's not glued at all at the bottom, and that is definitely too tall. The question is, do we want to trim it down? To fit the pocket. Kind of trying to decide if I'm gonna like that or if it's too busy kind of thing. All right, I think that might be too busy. All right, we're not gonna put that in the pocket. I do want to put maybe a little bit of a cluster down here, and then I will at some point put something in the pocket. I like that. And as I said, these are leftover bits from the digital kit for the Archive 365 Creative Adventure being hosted by Debbie over at Ink and Page. And I've been posting shorts for the entire month, or the entire year so far, one a day-ish on my channel. Alright, that guy's done, but for getting a tag put in it. I'm gonna go let a dog out. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see. So this one's done. Press the tape down good because it was popping up. Let's set it aside. Let's figure out what we want to do on these guys. Alright, this one I need to make into a tag shape. Okay, so let's cut our tag shape. Around the bottom corners. Let's decide what we want on here. Thinking I may want those numbers, but I'm not 100% sure. And I'm thinking I definitely want to put a little bit of text. Maybe that one. All right, let me get out my paper trimmer and trim these guys apart. All right, let's get this piece cut out. We got this. Yes, but I think I need to grunge it a little bit more. That is too long, but maybe we do it going that way. But we cut off the excess white that's showing. I'm not loving it against that red. All right, that's getting set to the side. Let's see about maybe the airmail. That's gonna go on there. I like that better. Not quite the right color. Maybe that one. I kind of want this piece. Around here, I think. Very neutral, so it needs something like really pops on there. Let's see, I may pull out the digitals I got. I want a mailman on there, or mailwoman. Let's do her. I think I like that. That just needs something more punchy color-wise. I think I like that for there. That needs something else on it too. Maybe. Wait. That'll work, but what I want to do is tear it. That. I just didn't want to lose the pen nib on there, and I'm gonna glue it on, and I think I'm overhanging a little, but that's okay. I'll just trim that off. So like that. This we're gonna not make the envelope because there's really no point if I'm just gonna glue it down flat. We're gonna trim off the bits. We need to ink all of those edges. All right, let's grab some scorched timber and get to inking. that one's done. Let's bring you over and start inking edges. Because I don't want to cover that up, so I figure if I attach this to that, I can then shift it over and position it on the card properly. All right, let's go ahead and glue this down. I grabbed the brown dauber, which actually it was brown, but then I accidentally dipped it in the Distress Oxide Uncharted Mariner, so it's kind of a bluey brown. Definitely having some difficulty getting it to stick down because of all the texture on there. But that one's done. All right, let's get this one done. I think I'm going to add a little ink to this. I'm not gonna bother putting any more on the brush, just going with what's on there. Do want a tab at the top, and I think I know what I want. 49 and Market stamps. Oh, I figured they'll work together. They'll be the same size, but I forgot I'm flipping them. They'll actually still work. All right, they can go like that, but I need to color them. And I think what I'm going to do is grab my Uncharted Mariner Oxide and just brush some of that on. Oh, that was on a little heavier than I wanted. We'll do the scorched timber around our edges. Kind of thinking I want to spritz them with a little water, like take my splatter brush sec. And then, yeah, like that. What we're gonna do is we'll glue this one on. Get them lined up just right. And then I'll just come in and ink again. Make sure we don't have any white showing. And now we have a little tab at the top. All right, that one's done. Let me clear some space and put some stuff away, and then I will show you what we got done. Okay, so we got this guy done, which needs something for the pocket, and that tag, and this journaling card, and this journaling card. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that let YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.